quickly part 1 of analysing Don Bennett's Iodine 101 article. And in a nutshell, basically, he testimonies himself as going through the experience of being iodine deficient, and shared when he took therapeutic dose of iodine, he, within a few days, said he felt physically and emotionally much better, right? And he says you need to do a specific iodine test and basically consultate with an iodine practitioner, because basically the government healthcare systems in America, they just don't acknowledge that the idea of iodine problem existing, because it doesn't make money, basically. And he was actually writing that like one of the things, like inhibitors of iodine, bromine is like put like in processed gluten foods, and these type of foods make money, right? And it's like I took 4 total notes, book pages, personal notes of my questions and ideas, myself trying to point the key points, everything about the article, and it was just 4 pages altogether. And I'm specifically, with this upload, purposefully trying to give the example of my personal self, where I took a dose of iodine and then straight after I have serious type of flu symptoms, and this occurrence happened a certain amount of time, say maybe 1 or 2 months after I took no iodine, and before that I've just been taking about, just using a regular luguols iodine solution, about the 7% solution, 1 drop a week, and I didn't personally notice having symptoms, right? But Don, he writes that we shouldn't just be trying to supplement with iodine, just like something like B12 and vitamin D. And that's what I've been doing personally since I just found out about iodine being a nutrient. And I remember a long time ago, I watched Don's probably most popular video about iodine, and that's when I got my iodine drop liquids. I must have not fully have probably studied that video from Don and actually everything that he mentions that goes into this topic of iodine. He writes a very detailed type of article where there's multiple points. He's writing things, so many things. I can quickly try to summarize, be quick. Like, iodine deficiency is linked to so many conditions. If you have a condition, then you most likely have a problem with iodine also, if you're not actually supplementing with iodine, he writes. And there's two forms of iodine. He wrote, you need the two different forms in order for the element iodide, for them to have a proper function in your body. And it's like, he gives examples of all the symptoms, and personally, I do think I relate to certain so-called symptoms of not having optimal iodine levels. And he writes, the reason why we have it is because of reasons such as soil depletion. Secondly, we have an increased need for iodine because of like environmental factors of a modern age. And then there's also like competitors, halogens, which make it so you need more iodine. There's certain types of foods with anti-nutrients he listed, but I personally don't eat any of them, which stop iodine. Right. And those were just some pointers. And to recap, basically, the main reason why I'm publishing this content is because I'm literally just contemplating, should I literally do the thing and pay for what Don is actually suggesting? I mean, he gives examples like himself, like offering paid consultation, $150 per hour. Or, secondly, I just want to try to prove factually and mathematically how it's possible to try to solve an iodine problem without following 100% all the steps which Don Bennett here is suggesting. But I'm not trying to like throw away his ideas either. And that is why I called this part 1, because I really feel as if this is something which is not like a completely easy, simple topic to try to diagnose. And I will have part 2 with an answer. Amen.